One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Between posting the picture and getting a call from the Secret Service, did you have any sort of gut check of like, well, they've audited me in an extraordinary way. I was under investigation for years after he fired me. Like, you know, did you have any regret about posting the picture?
Well, I regret the distraction and the controversy around it. But again, it's hard to have regret about something that even in hindsight looks to me to be totally innocent for the reasons you said. But yeah, I didn't have a gut check. In the Trump era, I've been investigated a lot, audited a lot. And so it's not my first rodeo. I'm in some strange way the relationship he can't get over, maybe because I've lived a happy, productive life since leaving. But this has just been a distraction in that life.
Tell us about, take us through all of the ways he sought to investigate you. He's been tweeting about investigating you and prosecuting you, I think, since 2017, shortly after he fired you.
I think that's right. And I intentionally don't keep track of these things, but he has, and I hope no one will, but he has dozens of times called for me to be incarcerated and accused me of all manner of things. And I was investigated repeatedly in a variety of different ways. In his first term, I went through the mother of all IRS audits, which cost me thousands of dollars, but I got a $347 refund at the end. Turns out I had overpaid my taxes. But just again and again and again, I really thought that I was done. I was in another life. I was a grandfather and an author wearing, sweaters and jeans. And then I went for a walk on the beach and posted a silly picture of shells that I thought was a clever way to express a political viewpoint. And actually, I still think it is. I don't see it the way some people are still saying it is. But again, I don't want any part of any violence. I've never been associated with violence. And so that's why I took it down. So
your position, even after all of this, the Secret Service calling you and bringing you in for questioning, is that the phrase, the message on the shells was political speech and is political speech.
Yeah, by somebody. I actually didn't think of it as political speech by me, but I thought, what a clever way to express a political view. The shells were the same color for each of the letters, so different colors for the letters. It took a lot of work. Somebody with artistic flair did that, and I have a hard time believing it was anybody with a dark intention, and it certainly was no dark intention on my part, on my spouse's part.
So, you see where this is going? I mean, I think those of you who analytically look at things realize there is no other option. After the earlier show, excuse me, I had some people that reached out to me like, Barry, this is crazy what you're saying. I'm like, okay, when there's guys that like James Comey who can go on a national television show and pretend like he didn't mean anything by it, it was just some rocks on a beach that he hoped to make a political statement. Notice what Nicole Wallace did not ask him. What political statement are you making by saying 8647? It's not like burn bras or baby removal or, free Israel, free Palestine. What exactly? And she didn't ask him, what is the political statement you're making by saying 8647? That was probably the most disingenuous reporting I've ever, I can't say it because every other day they come out with some more disingenuous reporting. They never asked the actual question. They let the person come on and smugly smile. I'm living a great life. I'm making all kinds of money. I wrote a book. Everything's fine. And I didn't mean anything. It was just a political statement. Well, I make political statements all day. They didn't ask him, what was that political statement? Don't know why. Well, I guess we could probably surmise because he lies. I am today further entrenched in my feeling that things are going to happen and they're going to happen soon. I'm going to show you President Trump is supposed to come on at 7. I don't know if he's going to make it at 7, but I have his earlier tape that I want to bring you. His earlier tape is when he talked to the fallen police officers. Beautiful ceremony. Talking about some Palm Beach County officers down here who were killed in action. And then the Q&A started with the media. And when we get to the Q&A, I'm going to have to stop it because you're going to go, oh, I see now, Barry. I mean, he actually, he's laying the breadcrumbs over and over and over. And too many people aren't deciding that they want to listen and that they don't want to ask the right questions. Obviously, I can't talk too much about some of the stuff he's been posting until we do the jump over. Just to let you know, not sure what time we will because I'm not sure what time President Trump is going to be done with his event. But when you see this pop up, you want to go ahead and get ready to jump over Rumble. In case you guys don't know what we've been doing here in the night show, is we do whatever amount of time it takes to do some news on YouTube. And then we jump over to Rumble, and it's Rumble exclusively. The feed goes off on YouTube, and the feed goes off on X, and we finish on Rumble, and we talk about stuff we can't talk about here on YouTube. So I hope you join us. You'll see it. I'll let you know way in advance before we're going to do the jump over. Tonight I've got some different kind of music. Let me just say that. Different kind of music, at least to open the show. The music to open the show is reflecting on what we've seen in the last 24 to 48 hours. So I think some of you guys will recognize it. Some of you guys are like, Barry, this is some eclectic stuff. It's out there. But in any event, President Trump has not started. So he's probably delayed. They may do a delayed tape. I'm not sure. But just in case, I have this interview, and if he comes on live, I'll jump from this interview. Let's take a look at this.
Very much, everybody. It's a real honor to welcome all of you to the White House, the famous Oval Office, and we award the first ever Medals of Sacrifice to 3 heroic law enforcement officers from Palm Beach County, Florida. I went to the service. It was crazy. It was just horrible. Earlier today, Congressman Brian Mast, who's right here, introduced a bill to ensure this new medal will be awarded to any law enforcement officer or first responder who gives his or her life in the line of duty. I also want to recognize Laura and Eric Trump for their work to make this medal reality. Thank you, Laura, and thank you, Eric. Appreciate it very much. Thanks as well to Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's with us. Pam, thank you very much. I appreciate it. So busy. She's so busy, but you wouldn't miss it. Secret Service Director Sean Curran. Sean, wherever you may be. Hi, Sean. Congressman Byron Donalds, State Representative Meg Weinberger, and Dan Newland. Thank you. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Byron. Thank you, everyone. Really great that you're here. I also want to express our gratitude to Major Paul Vercoda. Where is Paul? Paul. Thank you, Paul. Captain Ryan Mugridge. Thank you, Captain. Lieutenant Shandon Hood. Thank you, Shandon. Sergeant Scott Yoder. Thank you very much, Sergeant. Deputy Sheriff Christopher Farron. Thank you very much, Christopher. And Deputy Sheriff Chris Cameron. Thank you very much. Thank you. And all of the Palm Beach Sheriff's Office. We have many people here representing that incredible office. I know it very well. Very special thanks as well to Alexander Arnault, who's a tremendous person with his father, who they own Tiffany, and they really devoted a tremendous time and effort to helping us design this beautiful medal. And thank you very much, Alexander. I appreciate that you came all the way from France, and the incredible team at Tiffany and Company. And Tiffany is doing great. He's a fantastic leader. You know all about the fantastic, the great Arnault family. And the fact that you came for this is very, very meaningful, actually. It's really incredible. But for crafting this beautiful medal, and I know he looked at it and he worked on it. He had his best people working on it, and people are loving it. And this will go on for a long time. You'll be making that medal for a long time. Unfortunately, in one way, it's very sad, but we properly respect the ones that have lost their lives. Today, we also remember 3 remarkable heroes who will become the medal's first ever recipients. It's a big honor. Corporal Luis Piez Jr., Deputy Sheriff Ralph Butch Waller Jr., and Deputy Sheriff Ignacio Dan Diaz. And thank you very much. You're represented by family members who are, I was there with them. That was devastation. They were devastated. We're profoundly grateful to be joined by their loved ones. Corporal Piez's former wife, Doris. Thank you, Doris, for being with us. Thank you very much. Thank you. And his son, Cameron, good-looking son, too. Deputy Waller's wife, Denise. Thank you, Denise, very much. And Deputy Diaz's daughter, Alexandria. Thank you. Thank you very much. I want to thank you all, and the 3 officers we recognize today were close friends. They were really close friends and colleagues, and together they dedicated their lives to protecting the people of Palm Beach County and well beyond. And they were beloved by everyone and respected by all. Really, really top-of-the-line people. Countless times when I was in Florida, they proudly saved. And they saved a lot of lives. They were going around saving a lot of lives. Their reputation was incredible. They served in motorcades for presidents, called presidential motorcades, a very dangerous job, actually. And I was deeply honored to attend their memorial service last year.
Okay, so we're going to come back to this because President Trump has arrived at the dinner already. Again, this is the dinner for the Kennedy Center. He's making his way to the stage right now. I wouldn't expect this to be long. It's more of a formal dinner. I doubt he's going to take any questions. He's probably just going to recognize some people and talk. And let's cut to President Trump right now.
What a group this is. There's the great Steve Wynn. Hi, Steve. Hello, everybody. What a group of good friends. We're going to bring this place back. It's not so good. I thought it was going to be this beautiful. I hadn't been there in a while. I said, this is going to be beautiful. It's not looking too good. But we're going to bring it back. Why don't we sit down? tell you about our day. Should I tell you about the day first? My little conversation with a nice gentleman named Vladimir Putin. But we had a good talk, and I think that progress is being made. 5,000 young soldiers are being killed every single week on average. Can you believe 5,000? And it's actually a number probably worse than that, in addition to other people that are being killed in towns. And we're trying to stop it. It's a bloodbath. It's an absolute bloodbath. I've seen satellite pictures that are so bad, so horrible, and that's to think that in this day and age we're living with this horrible thing that's going on, and we're doing the best we can. This was not our war. This was not me. We're doing something from the last administration, how they allowed that to happen. It wouldn't have happened. It would have never happened. And you know, the Ukraine-Russia wouldn't have happened. But I'll tell you what. And it's being credited as one of maybe the most successful visit that anybody's ever made to any place. There's never been anything like this. Hundreds of planes, big wide-body planes ordered. Boeing, getting them from Boeing, but I think an order of, 148 planes. It's a lot of 777s. Those are the big ones, or the 787 Dreamliners, and orders of everything. The AI is going wild. I hope it's as good as people say, because otherwise some people are going to be pretty disappointed, but it seems like it is. A lot of smart people are doing it. But massive orders into our country. We did 1.4 trillion in one case. We did 2 trillion in another case. Numbers that nobody's ever really heard of before. And our relationship is fantastic with those 3 beautiful places. I mean, they're incredible. Money is like no place else probably anywhere. Well, we have more money, but we didn't use it right, but that's all right. Now we're starting to. We were losing in trade $5 billion a day, and now because of tariffs and other things, we're making $1 billion a day, and the tariffs haven't even really kicked in. It's a big difference. It was, for the last 4 years have been a disaster for us with trade and frankly with everything else. So we're here for a different reason tonight. We're going to have to fix this one too. We're fixing everything. We're going around Mr. Fix It, Mrs. Fix It. Anybody want to join me? But the Kennedy Center, when I said I'll do this, I hadn't been there. That's the last time I'll take a job without looking at it. And but it's got a tremendous amount. Lindsey Graham and some people put in the budget either 200 or $250 million. Money was spent there. Tremendous amounts of money was spent there over the last 10 years. I don't know where they spent it. They certainly didn't spend it on wallpaper, carpet, or painting. And they had over $200 million was spent. So I don't know what's going on. Pam, are you here? You hear that? Look, when I hear that, I say, what? Where, Pam, where did all this money go? It's crazy. It's crazy what's happened with our country in that regard. You know, it's to build things. Go back to the Woolman rink. They went for years, 12 years without getting a rink, and I got it built in 3 months for a fraction, like a tiny fraction. They had spent over $20 million. They never got it opened. I said, I want my kids to go ice skating before they're too old. They don't want to go ice skating anymore. I used to watch it from my window. I used to watch people, nobody working and spending money like crazy. And as you know, I got it built very quickly. This is well, maybe a more difficult. That was pretty easy, actually. We had cement mixers from the rink all the way back into Harlem. We poured one contiguous pour over a period of a day and a half. They would pour a little section, then another little section. And when they put water, it all leaked, surprisingly, you know. So it was fun, but I love construction. That's, I guess, why I like this a little, because we're going to have to redo it. So I'm honored to welcome exceptionally talented and committed group of patriots. You're amazing people. This is an amazing board, I'll tell you. And I got so many calls from people, could I get on the board? You have a lot of people that are not so much in love with me right now because I couldn't get them on the board. But because the board is taken. But we're going to turn it around, and the Kennedy Center Board of Trustees, you're here, and in many cases you have your spouses. And I want to thank Rick Grinnell. Where's Rick? Where is Rick? Hello, Rick. He's terrific. He did a great job. He used to walk into the Justice Department with stuff under showing all the horrible things that had gone on in our country. He had a lot of courage, and he's going to be with me for a long time, different things. He seems to be a troubleshooter. I say, how about Kennedy Center? Let's fix that one up. And tremendous strides have been made. Well, you'll be hearing about that in a second. But I want to thank the entire board for the incredible work and all the fundraising efforts. We're going to raise some funds, but we're getting a lot of funds also from Congress because they want to see this thing good. You know, we have the 250th year anniversary coming up, and this building is going to be a primary focus in D.C., and it's got the potential for greatness. If it didn't, I wouldn't have done it, but it has a great plan. It's got great sound. It's got a lot of things that, you know, if you don't have good sound, you can forget it. You're never going to. They've been trying to do things over at Lincoln Center. All my life I've been watching. They rip it down, build it up, rip it down. You know, some of the greatest sound of buildings built in the 1850s out of pure marble. And you get up and you can just talk lightly and they hear you back 100 rows. But and if you don't have sound, I think there's a certain amount of luck. You hire sound engineers, they get a lot of money, and then you open the building and you can't hear anything. So we're going to do some good things, but the basics are there. The location is phenomenal. The importance of the building is phenomenal. And we'll have some very interesting plans. I always thought they should have built a beautiful performing center, open air, facing out over the Potomac. They didn't do that. They built these crazy rooms underneath. They built three tiny little stages, very expensive. Someday maybe somebody will occupy one. They're underground. In fact, when I looked from a distance, you know, you see these like hubs, concrete hubs, and I thought it was modern art, you know. Well, here we go with the modern art blocking everybody's view. And when I actually went over there, I said, no, it wasn't modern art. It was meant for a door to be in, so you go down to these rooms. So I don't know what the hell they were doing, but they spent a lot of money. And it's just not possible that they could have spent it so poorly. But we're going to turn it around. That's what I love doing. I love turning things around. Turnaround artist. I'm doing that with the country. Believe me, we're doing it. We're doing a job. We are hot. We are hot. The country is hot. We in a short period. Look, we've been there for 100 days plus a few days, and as they said, the king of Saudi Arabia said, your place, your country is a whole different image now. We were a laughing stock, an absolute laughing stock, but we're not a laughing stock any longer. And, you know, I was talking to, as I said, President Putin for 2.5 hours. That was being very seriously listened to. We don't like what's happening. We don't like that we should have ever been involved. Would have never happened. But we're respected again as a country. You know, one thing that I tell you that I think is amazing, if you remember about 8 months ago, the big story was that nobody wants to join our military. We couldn't have any, people weren't joining. And they weren't proud of our country. They weren't joining police forces all over the country, Houston, Dallas, all over the country, New York. And now we have a record-setting enlistment in the military. Think of that, record-setting. The most in 38 years, but it's probably more than that. They started taking the numbers, Susie, 38 years ago, right? But the most in 30 years, probably the most ever, I don't know. But we have record-setting young people that want to join the military, and that's incredible. To have that is just absolutely incredible. And to think that 8 months ago, we were all listening to the fact that this was before the election. 8 months ago, we were listening to the fact that we wouldn't have any, you know, we wouldn't have anybody in our military. I mean, nobody. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Space Force. I'm so proud of Space Force because we got that going. We started Space Force, and they wanted to terminate it, and the military backed up. And they said, you're not going to do that. We were third in space, and now we're number one in space by a lot. They've done a great job. They had some great commanders in Space Force. But, you know, ultimately it's going to be truly one of the most important things we've ever done because it's all heading to space. And I'm not talking about just experimental things that we do, because a lot of people don't understand that. We can understand that. But we're, in terms of defense and offense of our country, it's going to be very, very important. We're number one in space by a long shot. The Kennedy Center mission is to be the crown jewel of the arts and culture in our nation's capital, and under our new leadership, we're going to take this revered institution to heights that it's never seen before. I think we can take this to really because we have the right place. We have all the politicians, and then we have the people that want to get to know the politicians for lots of bad reasons. And, we have everybody here. They have to be here for something, sometime. I've got total confidence in the just great team that Rick and the group have put together. Sergio's done fantastically. We're especially pleased to be joined tonight by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, great guy. Great guy. Where is Marco? He's great. I'm telling you, he was born for this. He loves it. You see him, he's in one country, another country. I think he loves it. But he's so respected everywhere he goes, and I know how tough he is, because I used to have to be up there with him. He was not nice. He was a tough one. He was as good as you get. I didn't know that we would end up being this close. We like each other. I think I can speak for him. I can speak for myself, but I like him, and he's done a fantastic job, and he's really, really working. And we're getting relationships that we lost that were very important for us in many ways. And so I want to thank Marco, and Marco's on the board, Attorney General Pam Bondi, who I've known so long, and she's married to the best-looking guy in the room, I must admit. But she is the man. She has been amazing. She's so respected, and she's really delving into some tough territory. She sees what's happened and what's going to happen, and she knows before anybody else. She's just a fantastic person. She's got a great staff that's surrounding her, and I think she's just a star. But I've known that for a long time. I'm not surprised at all. So thank you very much, Pam, for the job you do. And by the way, she was the Attorney General of Florida, so she had plenty for a long time and never had a problem. I can't remember a problem. And she kept everybody safe, and they felt very secure. Now she's doing it on an even bigger, who would have thought it would have been a much bigger level, right? But she gets it. Secretary Howard Lutnick is here with his wife, Allison, and he's great. He went with us to that incredible 4-day little journey that we had, and we saw some things that were incredible, but everybody respects him. Did a great job in business. He built a firm twice. His firm was at the top of the World Trade Center when the planes hit, and he was amazing story. He was always, Allison, good job. You got him to take your boy, right? Years ago on that horrible date, when you think of it. So Howard would always be, built Cantor Fitzgerald, and he built it in a very top firm. They had the top 3 floors of the World Trade Center, the building, the first building that was hit. And he was always there at 6 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning. A lot of the stock guys, they have to do that. Someday you'll explain to me why. Probably insider trading, Pam. I don't know. It's probably. But whatever the hell reason, he was there always at 5:30 or 6 o'clock. And first time ever, like almost ever, his wife was after him for years to take their son to school. He was a young boy, very young, like early grades, and he would say, no, I can't. This was years after like 2 or 3 years of being harassed by Allison, who was very tough. A great wife, beautiful wife, but she's very, very tough. And finally, he did it. He took his boy, and it was on that day, and he dropped the boy off at 8:30 and started driving down the West Side Highway, and he would have been in that building, and every single person died in your firm. He had lost everybody. And with the exception of a few people in Europe and maybe a couple of other places, small, because they were all very New York-centric, and every single one of them died, including your brother. And what he did was incredible, actually. He rebuilt the firm, and he gave a percentage of it for years to the people, the families of the people that died. And the new firm became more successful than the old firm, using the same name, Cantor Fitzgerald, and he rebuilt it step by step by step. And I mean, that's, to me, that's why I said I have to get this guy if I have a chance, if I ever do. And he was very happy. They were doing great. They were doing record business. But when I said, how about coming over to commerce, a little thing called commerce, and now I don't think you could ever go back into that world because it's so big. He and Scott are in charge of, along with others that are great, but they're in charge of the biggest deal ever made in history. It's the whole tariffs. We take it in trillions of dollars, trillions. And we've been hurt very badly by other countries that did this to us for 20, 25 years. They were taking advantage of us. We never did anything. But now we're doing it to them, and fairly, I'll tell you what, modestly. But we'll be taking, and we are taking in right now, 25% on cars, 25% on steel and aluminum, 25% on other things, and that'll be going up to 50, 75, maybe 100 in some cases. We have to get our pharmaceutical industry back. Once we establish that in another couple of weeks, it'll start roaring back. It's already roaring back because they know we're doing it. And it's really been, you've done a great job. But he said to me the other day, this is so big. These numbers are bigger. Cantor Fitzgerald doesn't look so big anymore. We see numbers, we talk in the trillions now. Think of it, $5.1 trillion. Nobody talks, but we're talking big numbers, and he's doing a great job. He did a great job before. Chief of Staff, Susie Wells, she's considered the most powerful woman anywhere in the world. She is. She's the most powerful woman in the world. A lot of people are saying that, but she had a couple of articles, and I said, you know, it's actually true. She can wipe out a country with just a mere phone call. Think of it. That's the end of the country. But she's great. She's been, I mean, I knew because we won Florida 3 times and won it. You know, Florida didn't used to be a red state. It was a blue state. When I first ran, that was a blue state. And now it's a seriously red state. And it got more and more, and we're going to keep it that way. But Susie ran it, and we won by a landslide, and a Republican hadn't won. You know, you had a Democrat senator, you had 2 Democrat senators, but you had a Democrat governor, you had a lot of Democrats. And so we won in a landslide. I said, good. Then the next time I won again in a much bigger landslide, and anybody I endorsed also won. And I said, that's good. And then when it came time to do this, after the election was rigged, the second one was rigged, whether you like it or not, it was rigged like nobody's ever seen. And now people are seeing it. Now people don't even fight me. You know, they used to say, sir, it's not really that nice to say. I'm an honest, it was rigged, and unfortunately that's what happened. You look at some of the things that happened, all of these things would have never happened. But when it came time to thinking about doing it again, I didn't think I'd have to do that. I said, you know, I think I'm going to take that woman, my friend now, but at the time I didn't know. Her father was Pat Summerall, who was a great football player, was probably a greater announcer for 28 years for the NFL. But that tells me, you know, because I'm a big believer in the genes, person's genes. And Susie was, I said, you know, let's use Susie. She did a great job in Florida for me twice. We beat every Democrat by numbers that they never saw before. I said, let's use, and she took over, and she did great. Chris was fantastic, but she had a group of people that she brought with her, and there was no looking back. We started off leading by a lot, and it only got bigger and bigger and bigger. We had a couple of challenges that didn't work out too well, worked out well for us, but Susie was fantastic, and now she's the chief of staff of the president, and she really makes it work. And she's the first woman, this is shocking to me, because, you know, I thought we were beyond that, first woman chief of staff in the history of the country, right? So, and she's doing a great job, and, you know, those men are scared. She sits in the back of the room. She watches them like this. She doesn't want publicity. She doesn't want to be on camera. She doesn't want stories. But they're up there yapping, yapping, yapping. And if they start yapping the wrong way, it's not pleasant for them. She's great. And we have a friend of mine, a man that I endorsed, and he proudly went through the roof, Jeff Landry, governor of Louisiana. Where's Did my endorsement mean much? When I endorsed you, he became a rocket ship, right? We avoided, what I say it? We run one. Yep, yeah, it was good. We didn't want to run, we didn't want to go a second round. He went up and won everything, and he's a great governor, great attorney general, great governor. So it's great to have you. And we have so many people here that we're not going to do that, but we may play around in a little while because we're going to have some fun tonight. And we'll talk about this, but we'll talk about other things. But we might talk about some of the questions you may have. We're looking to get the one great, big, beautiful bill. It'll be the greatest tax cuts in history. If we don't get it, that means the Democrats will have stopped us, and that means people will get a 68% tax increase, the largest in history. And if we do get it, we're going to have the largest tax decrease in history. And all my life, I've watched politicians screaming, "We will cut your taxes." This is the only group where they say, "We're going to raise your taxes," and they think they're going to win. There's something wrong with them. I don't know what the hell is going on. "We're going to raise your taxes." And people say, "That's strange. I've never heard it before." When we took over in recent months, the Kennedy Center was in dire shape. As I saw on my tour a few weeks ago, the building is falling apart. I don't want to scare people. It's in fine shape, but it's falling apart. That means, we have to see, we have Les Mis. We're opening up with Les Mis and some other things. We have Mrs. Fisher here, and she said, "You know what works? Anything Broadway." So we're signing Phantom of the Opera. We're signing a lot of great Broadway, and we'll have them run for a while. And I think you're going to do very well. But it's been neglected very badly, and it needs an infusion of different things, including probably funds, but I think we're going to do very well when we get some money from Congress to fix it, because it's so important. The previous leadership wasted millions and millions of dollars and handed us a budget deficit of $26 million. Can you believe that? In addition, the programming was out of control with rampant political propaganda, DEI, and inappropriate shows. We had some very inappropriate shows, to put it very nicely. They had dance parties for, quote, queer and trans youth. And I guess that's all right for certain people, quote, and I'm just quoting, I'm not saying it, queer and trans youth. That wasn't working out too well. They had a Marxist anti-police performance, and they had lesbian-only Shakespeare, which is different. Who thinks of these ideas, really? It's different. It's different. Oh, we're bringing our country back so fast. The military is so much better. Everything, it's just gone. They had people who were paying them $400,000 or $500,000 a year to teach DEI. Just 12 weeks, our new board has balanced the budget. Think of that in 2026 budget. That's a pretty good job you're doing. So that's amazing. So the 2026, I told you it was 25 million under. It's balanced now for the fiscal year. Eliminated DEI initiatives in all cases. Brought back family-friendly programming that will attract large audiences once again, and launched a plan to renovate the building and reclaim the grandeur as a landmark, really a Washington landmark, which it always was. The Kennedy Center will also play an important role in our national celebration to commemorate the 250th anniversary of America's founding. So we have three really big. We have that. We have the 250th anniversary of America's founding. That's a big deal. And we have the Olympics, and we have the World Cup. And, maybe I got lucky, because I got the Olympics and I got the World Cup. I did nothing to help the 250th anniversary, because if I take credit for that one, then you'll say, I think he's exaggerating a little. But two of the three, I absolutely, I got the Olympics, I got the World Cup. And I said to myself when I got them, it was my first term I got them, President Obama would not take the calls from the Olympic Committee, refused to take the calls. And I think because he traveled to Oslo or wherever he went, and very far away, in order to get the Olympics, previous Olympics. And I said, well, that's great. That means we got it, because what president would travel to come in fourth place, which is what we came in, fourth place. And so he was so angry, he wouldn't take the call. So I got a call from, at the time, the mayor of Los Angeles. Los Angeles is not looking too good. with what the water. We just sent so much water down their way, they didn't want to take it because it was bad for the environment. I said, no, water's good for the environment. They would have had it, when I told them to get it, they wouldn't have had the fires, or it would have been very small. But we took so much, and we were looking at the Olympics, we were looking at other things, and Obama went there, and all that travel, all that everything, and think, who would go there unless you know the answer? You have to know the answer. You can't be embarrassed as president. No president's ever done that. And I give him credit, he went, but he should have known the answer. That's called deal making. And he didn't, and they put him at fourth, and he was so angry that it hurt his whole thing. He didn't want to talk to anybody, so I got a call from the mayor, and he said, sir, you're the president-elect. I was president-elect at the time. The president will not speak to the Olympic Committee, and I understand that, but a little bit his fault, I guess. He was very embarrassed by that, and I said, I'll speak to him. And I spoke to this gentleman who was obviously Scandinavian, seriously Scandinavian, and very nice. I couldn't get him off the phone because he was so starved for love. He just kept, I must have had him for 2 hours. I couldn't. I said, sir, I have to go. I'm president-elect. Yes. All I said to him, yes, 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 we will take good care. They wanted to know that if they choose us for the Olympics, will we treat them nicely? And I said, we're going to treat you like so well, like you've never been treated. And then he wanted to talk about anything because nobody would talk to him. Now he talks to me. And we got the Olympics, and then we got through Johnny, who's the boss. He's a friend of mine, and we got the World Cup. I got them both, and I said, man, I won't be president. I got the Olympics and the World Cup, and I won't be president. And they're going to forget that I got them. Nobody's going to mention it because, a little bit that's the way life is. And then they rigged the election. And then I said, you know what I'll do? I'll run again, and I'll shove it up their ass. And that's what I did. And all of a sudden, I then realized, I said, you know what? I got the Olympics, I got the World Cup, and I got the 250th. Look at the way this works out. So if they would have left us alone and wouldn't have cheated on the election and wouldn't have rigged it, I would have been retired right now. I would have been happily doing something else. And instead, they have me for 4 more years. Can you believe it? Yeah. So it has it. Yeah, it has it. So instead of putting forward programming that tears our country down and tears our country apart, the Kennedy Center should be the nation's premier venue for lifting up the best of our country and lifting up the American arts, theater, music, and culture. And together, it's really an honor to be with. I mean, I have so many friends on the board. This is a hot board, just like we have a hot country. We have a hot country. Our country was stone cold 8 months ago. It all began on November 5th. Does everybody know that was election day? And from that moment on, and then January 20th came, and what we've done, we have almost no inflation. Our energy prices are way down. Our gasoline costs are way down. Groceries are way down. Eggs. Remember, they hit me with eggs my first week. Sir, the fake news, those people right there, they were saying, sir, eggs have gone through the roof. They were doubling and tripling eggs. I said, I don't know what I've just got here, excuse me. And through she's done a great job, Brooke Rollins, Secretary of Agriculture. Anyway, the prices came down. They didn't want us to, we had the egg roll here a couple of weeks ago for Easter. They didn't want us to order eggs. They wanted the eggs to be made out of plastic. They wanted plastic. I said, I'm not going to do that. But by the time it came around, the egg prices are way down. The groceries are way down. Everything's way down. We are just doing great. I mean, think of it. No inflation, and we're taking in billions, hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs, which we never did before. We got a hot country right now. We have a country that people are proud to be a part of. So we're going to honor the legacy of President Kennedy, his great legacy, and we'll create the best and most beautiful home for the performing arts anywhere in the country, and many other things also. I want to thank you again. We're going to have some fun working together. We're going to make this a fun project. That's what I thought until I walked into the building. I said, this won't be the fun I thought, but it is fun. I like to create, you like to create. Most of the people in the room like to create, just like Bob Kraft created the New England Patriots. He happens to be here. And he tells me he has a great new quarterback, so we're going to see. A lot of people make that statement. We're going to find out, but I have a feeling you're going to be right. You've been right about a lot of things, but He was right about Tom Brady, right? He got him almost the last draft choice in the last round, sixth round, whatever it was. How did he work out, Tom Brady? Okay? Not bad? Good, right? But Bob's here, and his wife, as you know, Dana, she's on the board. And she's much younger than him, so he wanted to come tonight with her. Isn't it nice? Isn't it nice when you have a husband that will travel with you to the board, and he's a big shot, too? And he's a great guy. He's been my friend for a long time. So I'd like to ask, if I might, Secretary Rubio, and followed by, we're going to ask Sergio to say a couple of words, and then Rick Grinnell, and we'll have a little fun tonight. And you know what they can do? If they can, relatively quietly, they can start serving the meal. So by the time we're all finished, we get the hell out of here, we go home, and we have our board all formed, and we can start doing that quietly. And so, Marco, please come up and say a few words. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Well, thank you all for being here tonight. It's an unusual day. You know, it's not often you wake up in the morning and your first meeting is with the Pope and your last meeting is a dinner with the President of the United States. That's a heck of a day. But it actually is an honor to be a part of this administration, Mr. President. It's actually a very unique situation. I don't know how many of you got to see the President's speech in Saudi Arabia. I think it will go down as one of the most profound foreign policy speeches in American history. And where it outlined a vision for the future and a vision of prosperity. And I tell people, we have a president of peace. In fact, I'll tell you kind of an aside, one of the cardinals I was meeting with, Mr. President, the day before the papal mass said to me, you know, it's very unusual for us. It's, you know, we have an American president that wants peace, and it's some of the Europeans that are constantly talking about doing war stuff. So it's kind of the world's upside down in their mind right now. It's usually the other way around. And it's a great honor to work for a president who literally spends half his day, maybe more, trying to stop wars, end wars, prevent wars. And it's an extraordinary thing to be a part of, and thank you for your leadership on that front. He's a key part of the speech he gave, and I just summarize it this way: our president is a builder, not a bomber. He wants to make things, he wants to build things, he wants people to have prosperity and to be happy. And frankly, he knows we have to have national defense because, of course, that's the world we live in. But I think one of the things that troubles him deeply is how much money has to be spent on some of his military and war, because it's just the way the nature of the world is. He'd much rather be spending growing the economy and doing the deals that we've seen, and he's trying to convince other countries of that as well. It's an honor to be a part of this tonight for a few moments because you have an opportunity here. You know, the Kennedy Center is a showcase of American excellence in arts and culture, and that's what it needs to be again. And the work that Rick and his team are doing, both to bring the building and the actual function of the organization to reflect that, but the programming is the other thing we're really excited to see, the programming, the shows that are coming, that will be a highlight of American excellence and of American culture and American entertainment. And just so you know the influence that American culture has around the world in a positive way, a few months ago, the President hosted the Prime Minister of Italy down in Florida, and her English is excellent, very good English. And I asked her, why is your English so good? How it was really good. You know what she said? You know where she learned English? Michael Jackson. Not from him, not like personally, he wasn't doing the lessons, from his music. But what it tells you is the impact that American culture has on the world in such a positive way, and it can have such an influence. And the Kennedy Center is a showcase for it. So we're excited to see what you're leading here, and all of you contributing towards that. And we're excited to see also the restoration of that building. That really should be a showcase and something that we're proud of. That when people come to Washington, when people come to America, they want to see the shows that reflect the greatness of our culture and society, and in a building run by an organization that is reflective of excellence as well. So it's an honor to be here tonight. I want to thank all of you for contributing to this, because it's important that this board and everyone that's involved in it, and Rick and his team, are doing a great job of making sure that your dollars and everything you've made possible will be well spent, so we'll have a treasure in our hands for future generations. I think, Sergio, you want to come up here now and tell us about Sergio Gore for personnel.
Good evening. It's an honor to be here with all of you. We're here to honor the spirit that makes America exceptional. Under President Trump's leadership, we're witnessing the revitalization of American culture, a return to the values that fuel our greatness. I can't think of a better chairman of the Kennedy Center than President Trump. And a lot of you know his incredible record when it comes to dealing with these individuals who become American icons. So from Michael Jackson to hosting Pavarotti many times, to Andrea Bocelli, to incredible individuals that have changed the landscape of art and music. A couple of years ago, we were publishing a book, and it was called Letters to Trump. And we would open a box that's been closed for decades. And the letters that would show up in these boxes were just absolutely incredible. And there was a letter from 1986, and it was written to, "Dear Donald, I have a new show opening up. And I'd love for you to attend. It's called Phantom of the Opera." Signed, Andrew Lloyd Webber. And so there's nobody more qualified to lead this institution than President Donald Trump. America's had an incredible run for the last 250 years, minus the last 4 under the previous administration. And so we hope under his leadership, under his vision, under this entire team, the next 250 will be just as great. I want to thank all the individuals who have contributed to the Kennedy Center. Howard Lutnick, 7-figure donation, thank you. And we have a lot of other individuals who are looking to contribute. Anthony, you're nothing but cash, we know that. With that, I want to bring up our incredible director who's leading up the day-to-day activities of the Kennedy Center, Ambassador Rick Grinnell.
I'll be very quick. First of all, how great is it to have a president who actually cares about the Arts Center? That's what I love best, is that he actually cares. He came, he saw the problem, and he immediately said, "I'm going to call Congress and we're going to try to fix it." This is traditionally a Democrat territory, except President Trump says, "I want to do this." I have to tell you, President Trump is actually saving the Kennedy Center, because there is discussion right now of whether or not to take it down. The deferred maintenance of the Kennedy Center is criminal. It has been terrible. Mr. President, we said today in our board meeting, our great new CFO went through the 24 and 25 budgets of the Kennedy Center and found $26 million in phantom revenue, fake revenue. It's criminal. We're going to refer this to the U.S. Attorney's Office here. We're lucky enough to have the Attorney General on the board of the Kennedy Center who heard all the details today. She heard the details. And this is unacceptable in America, to have a fake revenue of $26 million fraud on previous donors. It's unacceptable, but I'm here to tell you that what we have is total transparency now. We want people to go through the budget. We want them to question it. We announced our program today, which is literally shocking the media, because they're saying, okay, this is pretty good. We're not getting criticized for the programming, because guess what, Mr. President? When you pick programs that are popular with the public, they respond. People buy tickets. It is popular when you do programming for the masses. As I said today, I am somebody who loves niche programming in the arts. I am somebody who embraces it. It's not for everybody, but I like to be challenged by the arts. I like it when somebody can teach me and make me a little bit uncomfortable in a show. But one thing that we're not going to do at the Kennedy Center is inappropriate content for children. We're going to protect children, and we're going to make sure that we are absolutely not losing money on our program. We can't do arts education if we don't have enough money and we have fake revenue coming in. So I promise you, and this board today responded incredibly well. I can't thank you all enough. Jennifer, thank you for being the chair. Thank you for every single board member. Your commitment is amazing. And as President Trump said, we're going to do great things. Everyone needs to go out and buy tickets to Les Mis and Porgy and Bess, which are currently being right now about to launch. We're building the stages and we're getting ready to have premier entertainment at America's premier arts institution. Thank you very much.
I guess that's it. Yeah, that's it. All right, so that went longer than I thought it would go. I thought they were gonna talk for like 20 minutes. They went for almost 50 minutes or so. Fantastic. If you've never been to the Kennedy Center up in Washington, it's worth a trip. And Les Mis is a good show, a very good show. So if you wanted to take a weekend and head up to Washington once they announce that show and get in on it and check it out, you might have a good time. Just don't go out at night. Yeah, I said that. Yeah. So let's go ahead and finish with the police, the fallen police officer ceremony that he was doing, because I want to get to that point where he leads into what I'm going to be talking about on Rumble. All right, so let's take a listen.
In a horrific accident in November, the three officers were working to restart one of their motorcycles on the shoulder of a road when they were struck by a SUV, struck dead center, and all three perished from their injuries. Essentially, they perished immediately. This was a terrible tragedy. It shook the entire Palm Beach community like very, very few events I've ever seen. All of Florida mourned their loss, and today our entire nation joins in honoring these three incredible patriots taken from us much too soon, much, much too soon. To Doris, Cameron, Denise, Alexandria, and to all of those who love these brave men, we are deeply sorry for your loss and eternally grateful for their sacrifice, their great, great sacrifice, just respected by everybody. We'll never forget their legacy, and we will never forget the debt we owe all of these great law enforcement heroes who have given their lives to keep our community safe and make America strong again. We have so many unbelievable people in the police department and other departments, first responders, firemen, a lot of brave, incredible people. And I'd now like to ask my son, Eric Trump, to say a few words, followed by Congressman Brian Mast and Alexander Arnault, who's going to be giving out the medals, and then I'll present the medals of sacrifice. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for being here, too. Thank you. Please.
Mr. President, thank you very much. My father and I attended that funeral that day, and I can't tell you how moving that experience was. And one simple question was asked: why is there no medal of valor, medal of sacrifice that commemorates law enforcement officers, first responders who have fallen in the line of duty? And Congressman Mast, he was there with me that day. He was with my father, and we said, we're going to take care of this problem. We're going to get involved. And the first call that was made was to the great Arnault family who owns Tiffany's, and they said, without hesitation, that they'd be honored to design something absolutely beautiful that's a tribute to these incredible officers, these incredible EMS responders. And here we are, roughly 6 months later, with something that's truly beautiful. I want to thank the Tiffany's family, the Arnault family, for all the work they put into in their entire team. I can tell you this has been a nonstop effort. I want to thank the congressman. Without the congressman, his staff, we would not be here today. I want to thank the president for allowing us to do this. It's such an important mission. This medal is going to be given for hundreds and hundreds of years to come. And last but not least, I want to send, on behalf of this entire nation, on behalf of our entire family, the incredible families of the Palm Beach Sheriff's Office and your incredible families. They made the ultimate sacrifice, and know that we all appreciate their dedication. Many of us knew them, have met them.
Breaking news into the Fanfare news feed.
All right, so I've got some breaking news. We will go back to that very shortly. And it's funny, you always have to wait for the other shoe to drop. Saw this information right here where Alina Habba dropped the trespassing charges against Newark Mayor Ross Baraka, who invaded the ICE facility. And people are all pissed off. Remember, This guy was on the grounds. He didn't put his hands on anybody. He just, trespassed. I guess she felt that wasn't the big fish. After all, he's just the mayor of Newark. Now, before you get all pissed off, before you start losing it on her, she's already ahead, I guess, ahead of Pam Bondi, because the second story that dropped literally 5 minutes ago. And to me, this is a much bigger deal. Today, my office has charged Congresswoman McIver, LaMonica McIver, with violation of Title 18 U.S. Code Section 111A1 for assaulting, impeding, and interfering with law enforcement. She has arrested. I don't know if she has come in and take the perp walk yet, but the Congresswoman that was in the red jacket, who had the black hair, red jacket, who actually was bum rushing everybody, she is being charged. She's being arrested. Thank you, Alina Habba, for this. Thank you. I don't care about the mayor. This is bigger. This is somebody in Congress. She could end up losing her seat. This is absolutely huge. So, if I could read this, let's see if it's big enough. It says, official statement. I take my obligations as U.S. Attorney seriously. I understand the responsibility that comes with my position, and I will work diligently to uphold the law and deliver justice to the people of New Jersey. After extensive consideration, we have agreed to dismiss the mayor's misdemeanor charge of trespass for the sake of moving forward. All right, so she's telling you, we dropped the mayor. All right. In the spirit of public interest, I invited the mayor to tour Delaney Hall. The government has nothing to hide at this facility, and I will personally accompany the mayor so he can see that firsthand. The citizens of New Jersey deserve unified leadership so we can go to work to keep our state safe. The dismissal against the mayor is not the end of this matter. Okay, here we go. Congressional oversight is an important constitutional function and one that I fully support. However, that is not the issue at this point, at this case. Representative LaMonica McIver assaulted, impeded, and interfered with law enforcement in violation of Title 18 U.S. Code Section 111A1. That conduct cannot be overlooked by chief federal law enforcement officers in the state of New Jersey, and it is my constitutional obligation to ensure that our federal law enforcement is protected when executing their duties. I have persistently made efforts to address issues without bringing criminal charges and have given Representative McIver every opportunity to come to a resolution, but she unfortunately has declined, so she didn't want to cooperate with her. No one is above the law, politicians or otherwise. It is the job of this office to uphold justice impartially, regardless of who you are. Now we will let the justice system work. Boom! Double boom! So she has arrested Congresswoman, what's her name? LaMonica McIver. So remember, Hakeem Jeffries and AOC, like you better not arrest her. If you arrest her, you see what's coming. Well, now we're gonna see. Bring it. Absolutely bring it. Remember, I don't know if you remember those videos. I didn't have a chance to grab them live here, but they threatened her. They said, if you go ahead and arrest them, watch what happens. Well, okay, tomorrow we will see what happens. Bring it. Love it. Absolutely love it. Let me get your statements here. Probably the mayor is talking just like Eric Adams did. Wouldn't that be something? McIver is a disgrace along with the rest of the Democrat racist assaulting ICE officers. I thought McIver was pregnant, then I realized she just constipated with her large belly full of... she will, she will fight it. It's what Dems do. She's entitled to fight it. Absolutely. I encourage her to fight it. I encourage her to spend as much money as she possibly can to fight it. Hire the highest paid attorneys. Spend your money, girl. Yeah, exactly. This is America. You're entitled to a defense. And so, yeah, I expect her to fight it as well. Nessun Dorma for sure. Right now, there's got to be some people quaking because they're seeing what happened with Biden, and right after that, bam, she comes in with the charge. You know what I call that?
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning, and you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
Yeah, AOC had said that if they arrest Congresswoman McIver, they're going to have problems. All right. I'll find it while we're listening to President Trump at this event. I'll see if I can find that video where she's, yeah, we're going to have problems. Okay. Let's see what happens tomorrow, because obviously you don't want to cause too much of a problem, because she'll lock you up. See, if she locked up her, you can chatter all you want, but let's see what the problem is you want to have. I can't wait. I can't wait. Yeah, I know some people are saying she's done more already than Pam Bondi. What was, oh yeah. Hey, I got to find both those videos, because Hakeem Jeffrey said the same thing. Only way she wins is if the judge is corrupt. It's Jersey, so I'm not sure. There's video. Where's that? Somebody said there's video evidence, everything. Feels good, doesn't it, Barry? Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm going to go look for those videos of AOC and Jeffrey, so I can grab that while you guys are finishing watching President Trump at this event. But that's fantastic news. I don't care about the mayor. He's local. It's a misdemeanor. You got the big fish. You got that congresswoman. So everything's going to... Oh, can you see it right now? I bet you if I turn down MSNBC, they're screaming at the top of their lungs. But just to recap and let you guys see it again, for those of you who are coming in late, just so you know, Lena Habba has charged Congresswoman LaMonica McIver with violation of Title 18 U.S. Code Section 111A1 for assaulting, impeding, and interfering with law enforcement. You got what was coming. Good for you. All right, let's get back to this video.
And we love them very much, and I'm sure they're missed. But today, hopefully, this is a great tribute to them. And I know, because of our wonderful president, that this medal will be given out for many years to come. Thank you very much.
I would just start by thanking all of our law enforcement officers. The job is always dangerous, and you do it still every single day. And I would thank the families, because the job, as you are a reminder of, is often deadly. And I would thank you, Mr. President, because for the first time in our nation's history, you're willing to say to all of our first responders, all of our law enforcement, all of our firefighters, we're going to recognize that sacrifice from the office of the presidency for each and every one of them. And that's never taken place before, that recognition, that it's a job that's always dangerous and often deadly, and there's a debt that can never be repaid, but you're willing to recognize that debt. So thank you, Mr. President, for recognizing the debt.
Thank you.
Mr. President, Congressman, thank you very much for involving Tiffany in this process. We're very honored to having made these medals. Tiffany is a jeweler, as everyone knows it, but also a maker of American heritage. We were making the Medal of Honor in the 19th and early 20th century, and it's only natural that we followed with this heritage, just as we work on other very important American heirlooms. This medal was made in Providence, Rhode Island, in our largest factory in the U.S., out of silver, plated in 24-karat gold, just like the ceiling of this office, and represents the coat of arms of the United States. Mr. President, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Byron, would you like to say a few words, please?
First, to be brief, to the families, we are so sorry for your sacrifice, but your officer from your family represented not just Palm Beach County, but the United States with honor. Mr. President, thank you for allowing this to go forward. To my colleague, Congressman Mass, thank you for your leadership. We will always honor first responders in the United States of America.
Thanks. Okay. So, you want to help us
Other
out
side.
with this? You're the one that made it. That's That's beautiful. So can we ask the families to step forward, please? Sheriff, would you like to help us with that? Please. Thank you very much. Why don't you grab that? Thank you, sir. First families. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You take care of yourself, okay? Thank you very much. Sheriff, thank you. You'll help us. Okay, I'm going to stand right over here. Okay. Now you're going to get me. Oh, thank you. That's right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Would you like to say anything?
I would like to thank you very much for honoring my husband and his brothers and for what you do for the country and making this so very special for them and for all the people to come. It's a club you never want to be in,
No.
but you've honored them and it just means the world. Thank you. Thank you for everything.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Very much. Would you like to say something about your father? You want me to go over there?
Come on over here.
Come on over here. To the mic. Right here.
I viewed my dad as Superman, someone my whole life you look up to. He's an amazing guy, and it's horrible that this happened to all three families. But I'm glad that something was done about it, and we got represented, and everyone in the future will be. So, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. You'd be very proud of you. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mother would be proud of you. Would you like to say anything, fellas, on behalf of the force? Would you like to say something? It's not a very tough thing to do, I know. Would you like to say something, please?
Mr. President, on behalf of Sheriff Rick Bradshaw and every member of the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, we can't thank you enough for taking the lead on this and recognizing the extreme sacrifice of our three brothers. Words really can't express how thankful we are.
Thank you very much. And we have a fourth, and we're going to give this to you. Hopefully it's maybe never going to be given out, so we'll give it to Sheriff Bradshaw, who's an incredible sheriff. And you've done an amazing job, and we'll have it should something happen. And that's right here, okay? So,
yes, sir. Thank you.
And I hope it never has to be given out, frankly. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Mr. President. Well, thank you. Do you have any questions for what you just saw? That's so important. I mean, people have talked about it for years. I want to thank Brian Mass for what he's done, Congressman. He's been unbelievable. He's a great representative. And he worked hard. He wanted to do it right, and we wanted to go somehow. We could get him done pretty easily in one way, but we wouldn't get him done by Tiffany. And The fact that the Arnault family stepped up was absolutely incredible. It means more when you get a name like that. I think it means something extra. But these were incredible people, and they're looking down on you right now, and they're very, very proud, very, very proud of all of you. And it's too bad we had to be doing this, but I was there with you that day. That was a rough day. Thank you very much. Would you have any questions? Yeah.
Do you have plans to give this award to any other families posthumously find themselves in the same position as having made this sacrifice? And then after the test, one question about your calls back.
Having to do from previous? Yeah. We're looking at the possibility of that, yeah. You had a lot of people die in the line of duty when you think of it. And we figured it was time to start. We haven't had the situation arise. This was a terrible situation. We haven't had it arise yet, but we're looking at going back a little bit and see what we can do about that. Yes, strongly. Yeah, go ahead.
On your call with President Putin today, you mentioned that the Pope would like to take a role potentially in mediating these talks. Does that mean that the U.S. is taking a step back from...
No. I think it would be great to have it at the Vatican. Maybe it would have some extra significance. And I saw that it was discussed yesterday, so I thought... And people told me that they'd be honored to do it. I would imagine they would be. So, no, I think it would be maybe helpful. There's tremendous bitterness, anger, and I think maybe that could help some of that anger. So having it at the Vatican would be... in Rome would be I think it would be a great idea. Thank you.
Mr. President, as
First
you know,
off, can I say...
Go ahead.
Mr. President, as you know, 2.5 months ago, Ukraine, President Zelensky agreed to that 30-day ceasefire that's been on the table all of that time. What was the extent of your conversation with President Putin today about having him agree to that same 30-day ceasefire proposal that you, Mr. President, put on the table?
Well, what we've done, and very strongly, is we said, let's get this thing going. You know, I had many of the leaders of European nations on the line with me right after the call. And we have to get that thing solved. 5,000 young people every single week on average. And I've seen satellite pictures. You don't want to see these pictures. We'll have to see what happens. This was not my war. This is not a war that would have happened if I were president. This is not my war. I'm just here to try and help. We've spent hundreds of billions of dollars on this war, and yet that's not, frankly, we made much more than that just in 4 days in the Middle East. It's a lot of money, but we do much. This is about thousands of people dying every single week. 5,000, 6,000 people dying every single week. And just like you have the relatives here, wives and children and everything, you have, these soldiers, they say goodbye in Ukraine and in Russia, and then their parents never see them again, except maybe in pictures of horrible scenes, because I've seen some scenes, I've never seen anything like it. So we're going to see if we can get it taken care of. Yeah, please.
First off, our thanks to the members of law enforcement who are here, and our condolences to the families. We're very sorry for your loss. Mr. President, on Ukraine and on your call today that you had with President Putin, you said last week that you thought nothing was going to happen, no advances would be made until you and Putin got together. Do you still feel that way?
I think something is going to happen. It's a very big egos involved, I tell you. Big egos involved, but I think something's going to happen. And if it doesn't, I'd just back away, and they're going to have to keep going. Again, this was a European situation. It should have remained a European situation. Should have remained, but we have, because the past administration felt very strongly that we should be involved, and we got involved much more than Europe did in terms of the money and all of the things that we gave. We gave massive amounts, I think record-setting amounts given to a foreign. There's never been anything like this, both weaponry and money. And Europe gave a lot also, but they didn't give anywhere near what we gave. We gave probably almost 3 times the amount. And it's just a shame. The whole thing is a shame. The level of death is just a shame. Yeah?
Did you ask President Putin to meet with you?
About what?
About Ukraine.
Of course I did. I talked to him about it. I said, when are we going to end this, Vladimir? I've known him for a long time now. I said, when are we going to end this bloodshed, this bloodbath? It's a bloodbath. And I do believe he wants to end it. You know, when I made the call, I told the people last night, I spoke to the heads of the different countries, Germany and Finland. We had Italy, as you know, and UK was on the line today, and a couple of others. And then they were in turn calling everyone. Ursula was there from the European Union. She was terrific. And we spoke for a long time about it. And they got a problem. It's a big, big problem. It's a terrible war. It's a very hard to extradite themselves away from what's taking place over there. The amount of anger, the amount of hate, and the amount of death. It's very hard, very tough situation. But I said to him, we got to get going. And I did say also, if I thought that you couldn't do it, I'd step away, because what are you going to do? We don't have boots on the ground. We wouldn't have boots on the ground. But we do have a big stake. And the financial amount that was put up is just crazy. It's crazy. This isn't for us. This is for somebody else. The amount of money that we put up is record-setting. There's never been anything like this. And that includes weapons. Never been anything like this. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, on the medal, how far back do you intend to look to consider for the recipients? And then on your call today, if Putin ultimately proves to be the obstacle to peace, is further arming Ukraine on the table at that point?
Well, we'll look. I mean, we're going to look. I hope that, I like to think positively, frankly. I just can't believe that they allow this to continue. This would have never happened if I were president, and most people admit that. It would have, and it didn't happen for 4 years. And October 7th would have never happened either. That's the attack on Israel. That would have never happened. So sad, a lot of things wouldn't have happened, but so sad to see it. Now, I think that there's a good chance we can get this done. I believe Putin wants to do it. Now, if I thought Putin didn't want, I mean, that's what I do. My whole life is like deals, one big deal. And if I thought that President Putin did not want to get this over with, I wouldn't even be talking about it, because I'd just pull out.
What did you hear that gave you confidence that he does want peace versus buying time?
I think he's had enough. I think he's had enough. This has been a long time. This has been going on for more than 3 years. When you think, right? It's been going on for a long time. Yeah, please.
Oh, thank you, Mr. President. When you implored him to stop previously, Vladimir stopped on social media, and he didn't. He just continued. I'm curious, did you bring that up with him in your phone call today?
You have to talk.
Sorry. You previously on Truth Social implored President Putin to stop. You wrote Vladimir stop, and he didn't stop. Quite the contrary. I'm curious, did you bring that up on your call with him today?
No, I didn't bring that up. But I did say, it's time. You got to stop this thing. And I believe he wants to stop. Look, I would be, I think, very able to tell whether or not he wanted to or what. I thought there was a very good chance, like a 50-50 chance, that he would say, I want to take the whole thing. I didn't know what he was going to say. And then they have a different kind of a problem. But I believe he wants to stop. Pretty sure.
Just now about backing away or walking away if it looks like it's going to be an intractable problem. Do you have a red line in your head of what would cause you to back away? And
yeah, in my head, but not something I'm going to announce. But yeah, definitely in my head I do. Yeah.
Exactly what that
because this isn't our war. This is not my war. This is not the war. I mean, we got ourselves entangled in something that we shouldn't have been involved in. And we would have been a lot better off, and maybe the whole thing would have been better off, because it can't be much worse. It's a real mess. It's a death trap. Exactly? So I think that, I would say I do have a certain line, but I don't want to say what that line is, because I think it makes the negotiation even more difficult than it is. Yes, please.
Mr. President, thank you all for your sacrifice. I'm so sorry for your loss and everybody. You mentioned the bloodbath that you want to see end in Ukraine. You mentioned that you believe Putin wants peace, but he just attacked Ukraine yesterday. So what makes you think that he wants peace?
Well, he's in a war, I mean, nobody said don't. They're fighting, they're attacking each other, and people are dying all the time. He's in a war, he's fighting a war. Nobody said he was going to stop. I think, is it terrible? Yeah, it's terrible. I think it's terrible.
Can you wait on President Biden? President Biden was diagnosed with cancer. The war, and then I want to ask you about reconciliation. Why haven't you increased the sanctions on Russia yet?
Well, because I think there's a chance of getting something done. And if you do that, you can also make it much worse. But there could be a time when that's going to happen. Yep.
Mr. President,
with
the ratings downgrade from...
Do you want to respond to President Biden being diagnosed with cancer? Are you going to call your predecessor?
All right, so they asked, they opened the door, with him getting cancer. Are you going to call him? And this is where it's going to lead into the second half of the show. Listen how President Trump responds to all of this.
I think it's very sad, actually. I'm surprised that it wasn't, the public wasn't notified a long time ago, because to get to stage 9, that's a long time. I just had my physical. You saw that. You saw the results of that particular test. I think that test is standard to pretty much anybody getting a physical, good physical. We had the doctors at the White House and over at Walter Reed, which is a fantastic hospital, do it. I did a very complete physical, including cognitive tests. I'm proud to announce I aced it. Got them all. I got them all right. You proud of me? Yes. Your husband would be proud of me for getting them all right. It's a little risk. If I didn't get them all right, these people would be after me. It would be not a good situation. But I think, frankly, anybody running for president should take a cognitive test. They say it's unconstitutional, but I would say in that particular case, having a cognitive test wouldn't be so bad. But when you take tests, medical, as a male, that test is very standard. I don't know if it's given to everybody, but it's given just about. And it takes a long time to get to that situation. Now, I think, to get to a stage 9, I think that if you take a look, it's the same doctor that said that Joe was cognitively fine. There was nothing wrong with him. Well, he said, if it's the same doctor, he said there was nothing wrong there, and that's being proven to be a sad situation. And the auto pen is becoming a very big deal. The auto pen is becoming a big deal because it seems like that maybe was the president who ever operated the auto pen. But when they say that was not good, they also, you have to look and you have to say then the test was not so good either. In other words, there are things going on that the public wasn't informed, and I think somebody's going to have to speak to his doctor, if it's the same, or even if it's two separate doctors. Why wasn't the cognitive ability, why wasn't that discussed? And I think the doctor said he's just fine, and it's turned out that's not so. It's very dangerous. Look, this is no longer politically correct. This is dangerous for our country. Look at the mess we're in. You're talking about all these questions on Ukraine and Russia that would have never happened. As an example, if I were president, would have never happened. The other thing is you have to say, why did it take so long? I mean, this takes a long time. It can take years to get to this level of danger. So it's a very, very sad situation, and I feel very badly about it. And I think people should try and find out what happened, because I'll tell you, I don't know if it had anything to do with the hospital. Walter Reed is really good. They're some of the best doctors I've ever seen. I don't even know if they were involved, but a doctor was involved in each case. Maybe it was the same doctor, and somebody is not telling the facts. That's a big problem.
President Zelensky of Ukraine says
So, whichever reporter that asked that question opened the door, and President Trump drove a bulldozer through it. And so you've got the press from around the country or around the world in there hearing him say it. And he said, we're going to have to look into this. We're going to have to look into the auto pen. You would think, as I talked to you this afternoon, that reporters would be hearing the president talk and say, we're going to have to look into something. We're going to have to find out who is running this auto pen. Crickets. They don't want to know. They don't want to report it. Right back to Ukraine. Right back to Ukraine. It's like it never even happened. Didn't hear what he just said.
Are ready for a ceasefire. They're ready for peace negotiations. In your mind, is Ukraine doing enough to get this peace?
I'd rather tell you in about 2 weeks from now, because I can't say yes or no. I think, look, he's a strong person. Zelensky, a strong guy, and he's not the easiest person to deal with. But I think that he wants to stop. He's, not It's a very bad thing that's happening over there. I think he wants to stop. But I could answer that question better in 2 weeks or 4 weeks from now. I hope the answer is that he wants to get it solved. I want to thank everybody very much. And on behalf of the United States of America, we greatly honor your family and your friends and everybody that had to suffer so much. But you have some 3 great men that are looking down on you, and they're very proud right now. They're very proud. This is the Oval Office, and they're a big part of it now. They're a part of the Oval Office, the White House. And thank you all very much. Thank you. Thank you, Sheriff, for coming. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
So if you were truly a professional and you heard President Trump right there talk about the auto pet, first of all, you disrespected all of those police officers and their family who they're commemorating their fallen father, brother, sister, husband, and you completely ignore them. Actually, one person said, "I'm sorry for your loss." The rest of them was like they were never even there. What about Ukraine? Notice how quickly they've changed the conversation to go back to Ukraine. They can't talk about the stuff that's actually happening. It's like, excuse me, is there something else that's more pressing right now? Come on, honey. You think there's something out there that's more pressing? No, I think Ukraine and Putin are the only things I know about. They're pretending that this big elephant out there just doesn't exist. And now they got another elephant thrown at them tonight, just to recap. Because this is pretty good. Let me pull this up so you guys can see it. Where is it? Okay. Just to remind you, just to recap, it's probably all over right now. Alina Habba, the new U.S. attorney up in the Jersey area, has arrested, I don't know if she's arrested yet, but she has charged Congresswoman McIver, LaMonica McIver, with violation of the law. She's going to be arrested. Subsequent to that, what did I see pop up with, where is it? This here, I want to show you this. Kristi Noem popped in with a response as well. After a thorough review of the video footage of Delaney Hall and a full investigation from HSI, the U.S. Attorney for the District of New Jersey, Alina Habba, has made the determination to charge Congresswoman LaMonica McIver for assaulting, resisting, and impeding law enforcement officers. No one is above the law. If any person, regardless of political party, influence, or status, assaults a law enforcement officer, as we witnessed Congresswoman McIver do, you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. We thank you. We thank our brave ICE law enforcement officers for their service to this great nation. And right away, people start complaining. Right away. But what about the mayor? Apparently the mayor's above the law. Take the flipping win. I almost said the real word. Take the win, idiots. Take it. She's arresting a congresswoman. That is much bigger than some local mayor. I don't understand. I don't understand people on the right, if they're on the right. Don't understand. Take the win. Learn how to win. Because here's what's going to happen. We're now going to see what these idiots do. Let's go ahead and play what AOC said. Remember this? This should jog your memory. Hopefully the volume is okay. Let me get set to play this so you guys can hear it. Okay.
Is trying to say, again, they're using public intimidation because they know that they cannot come for us all. They know that they cannot come for us all. And recently what they said is that DHS is allegedly looking into arresting members of Congress who were showing up for their legal and constitutional obligation to conduct oversight. If anyone's breaking the law in this situation, it's not members of Congress, it's the Department of Homeland Security. It's people like Tom Homan and Secretary Kristi Noem. You lay a finger on someone, on Representative Bonnie Watson-Coleman, on Representative, or any of the representatives that were there, you lay a finger on them, we are going to have a problem. because the people who are breaking the law are the people who are not abiding by it. And it is enshrined in the law that members of Congress who show up to ICE and CBP facilities are required to be granted access, legally required to be granted access. And they legally cannot be inhibited from accessing these facilities to conduct their constitutional obligation to investigate and conduct oversight. So if Kristi Noem wants to break the law, that's on her. But it sure as hell is not someone like Representative Robert Menendez that needs to be arrested. Okay?
Okay. Well, you're about to find out, AOC. It happened. They're about to put her in cuffs. So you tell me what you gonna do. Then we heard, of course, this idiot was talking crap too. Let's see what he had to say.
You said they better not touch our members.
Correct.
What happens if they were to go and arrest these members, or if they would try to sanction them during the House of Representatives?
They'll find out.
What would you do?
They'll find out.
What recourse? But doesn't that broach a?
They'll find out.
Doesn't that go across?
That's a red line.
What's the red line though? I know we have the.
It's a red line. It's very clear.
All right, so since it's very clear, and AOC said, we're coming for you, and Hakeem Jeffrey said, you're going to find out. Let's do it. Let's find out. Bring it. I'd love to see he and AOC and a couple other ones in cuffs. Called their bluff. Straight up. You guys should be sharing this everywhere. You can look at it on X. Oh, yeah, here you do it. Find out. Okay, hood rat. Here it comes. Cuffs. She's going down. Don't know if she'll be convicted, but she's going to be arrested. So let's see what we find out, as you calmly said at the podium. We gonna find out. You don't want to arrest us. Don't lay a finger. Okay. Boom. Boom. Your move. Big chess match. Go for it. Can't wait to see what happens. Can't wait. Love it. Love it. Absolutely love it. You know why?
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
Yeah, it looks like we're about to win a whole lot more, so we shall see for sure. So, I'm getting ready to jump over, and we're going to talk about some of the stuff that President Trump has been discussing on Truth Social, and that obviously you've seen now 2 shows this afternoon and today. The media wants no part, nothing. They don't want to discuss anything whatsoever that President Trump has been talking about. It's like it never happened. But it did happen, and it happened a lot. So before I go over there, I do have a bunch of news stuff to cover with you. Let's see. Is this one of them? Okay, here we go. Dan Bongino posted something, was very interesting. Dan says, we are now dealing with copycats sending cryptic threats to public figures using the 86 reference. Whether they turn out to be legitimate or not, taxpayer-funded public safety agents are going to have to run these all out and investigate them. This is a reminder of the damage of self-serving individuals with a history of extremely poor judgment can do when they fail to control their impulses. Taking a jab right there at James Comey. I'm not really sure if that's something Dan needs to be concentrating on right now. Copycats. I'm sure there's some real low-level people who can be taking that under consideration and dealing with that. Let's not do that, Dan. This one, I guess this is going to happen tomorrow. President Trump is set to visit the Capitol tomorrow to personally discuss the big, beautiful bill with House Republicans. Trump wants it passed this week. The bill includes no tax on tips or overtime, $175 billion for deportations and a wall, tax relief for seniors. I don't know how that's defined. They haven't said that they're going to do no tax on Social Security, so I don't know what the tax relief for seniors is. And then number 4, making his 2017 tax cuts permanent. and many, many more Trump campaign promises. So we shall see what they do, but tomorrow he's going to be up on Capitol Hill talking about all of this stuff. Let's see what I have next for you. All right, this one's important. Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Dillon and the DOJ Civil Rights Division have just launched an investigation into Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson after he said he prioritizes hiring black people. Yes, he actually said that. The reason I hire so many blacks to run Chicago is because we're we're planet Earth's most generous race. I don't know how to say this. There's no other way to say it. But if you've been a server in a restaurant or a bartender, do you really think that black people as a whole are the world's most generous group of people? I don't want to get anybody in trouble, so don't answer if you don't feel comfortable. But I'll let you think about that because he's crazy. Go get him, Harmeet. The city may be engaged in a pattern of practice of discrimination based on race. I wonder where you got that from. He said it. The DOJ is bringing exact quotes of what Johnson recently said about prioritizing black people on the basis of race. If this video is here, yeah, let me see if I can't download this in case you have not heard this. This is just some crazy stuff right here. I gotta play this for you, all right? Hold on, one sec. I gotta pull this in real quick. All right, so I have it. Hold on.
A couple of people talking about what they thought they may have seen and his acuity level or what.
Wrong one. Hold on a second. I gotta find this so you guys can hear it. Hold on. It's playing somewhere. Where is it playing? Where is it? I hear it playing somewhere. I hear it playing in my ear, and I'm trying to figure out where the heck it is. Okay, so it stopped. So let me see if I can bring it in, and so you guys can hear it. Let me see. It's okay. Hold on one second. Okay, here we go.
Some detractors that will push back on me and say, the only thing that the mayor talks about is the hiring of black people. No, what I'm saying is when you hire our people, we always look out for everybody else. We are the most generous people on the planet. I don't know too many cultures that have play cousins. That's how generous we are. We just make somebody a family member, right? That's just how we are. And so business and economic neighborhood development, the deputy mayor is a black woman. Department of Planning and Development, it's a black woman. Infrastructure, deputy mayor is a black woman. Chief operations officer is a black man. Budget director is a black woman. Senior advisor is a black man. And I'm laying that out because when you ask how do we ensure that our people get a chance to grow their business,
yeah, you're in trouble. You just put all that in video. Yeah, this person. You didn't mention any skills. You didn't mention how they qualify. You said the reason all these people were put in place is solely because they're black. And now you just invited a federal investigation on you. Good luck. Trump's team is not taking any crap from these people, nor should they. I cannot believe as I was listening to that he actually said that on videotape. It's absolutely insane. What an ass. Oh goodness, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. That's why Chicago sucks. It's insane that you would actually put that on a videotape and let people see it and hear it. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Oh man, something tells me in the next couple of weeks are going to be just nuts. I mean, absolutely nuts. All right, so Before we jump over, by the way, let me put that up so you guys know. We're close to jumping over, so when I say jump over, we usually end the show over on X. On Rumble. I'm sorry, on Rumble. When we go to Rumble, YouTube will shut down, X will shut down, and we will only be on Rumble. All right? So if you want to make your way over there, you won't miss anything. It's not like it's two separate shows. Everything is still happening. And then when we jump over, the ending of this will just be on Rumble. Okay, I'll let you know when that's about to happen. But first, what I'd like to do and talk to you about, what do I got here? I got to talk to you about the fine people at Patriot Addict, as we're going to be talking about the Trump blanket. So if you want to get a hold of the Trump blanket, which a lot of people have been getting, here it is. This is the Trump blanket. It's a really, really nice, big, huge blanket. It's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Very warm, very soft, very large. This blanket right here is Patriot Addict, and what they're doing is providing it to the Fanfare family. It's only available to you guys. I don't see it in retail anywhere else. For a limited time only, you won't believe the price of this blanket. All right, you watching? Yeah, here's the blanket. And you won't believe the price of what they're offering. It's free. It's free. All you have to do is pay shipping. Just go to the QR code, click right over there, and this blanket will be yours just for the cost of shipping. No charge. No charge, no subscription, no hidden fees, nothing. It's completely free. It's a bold symbol of America's comeback and real leadership. And let's be honest, if your neighbors happen to be liberals and they see you out on the deck or something wrapped up in this, it might just tick them off a little bit. Screw them. Enjoy your blanket. Enjoy the blanket. Click the QR code and you'll get it for free. Just pay shipping. Patriot Addict is doing this to show their support for Trump in these challenging times and to make room in their warehouse, but this offer is only available for the Fanfare family and its viewers. It's moving fast. Don't wait. Scan the QR code right there. It's right there. Just scan the QR code and you can get it. Now, let me just tell you, because between this and the knife and the different things that we do, when you get there, I don't want to be, some of you guys may not be aware of how some things happen with e-commerce. With e-commerce, you will often get an upsell. Hey, I see you like the blanket. Do you want this as well? Do you want this as well? It's not spam. It's called an upsell. Be prepared when you get there. They're going to try and upsell you to a different product. If you don't want the other products, just click no or close it out, and then you'll be able to finish your transaction to pay the shipping to get the blanket. Nobody's scamming you. They don't need your money for that. You just have to realize you're working on a website that's got upsells. I often tell people to be ready, because if you ever rented a truck from U-Haul, just imagine if you rent the truck from U-Haul, oh, thank you, got the truck. Hey, you need dollies, you need hand trucks, you need dudes to unload it. They ask you all these different things to try and make an upsell. Does not mean somebody's scamming you. I'm saying that nicely because some people are like, oh, all these things started popping. It's called an upsell. In any event, it's free. So just go ahead and say, no, I don't want the other stuff. Or if you do want the other stuff, go ahead and do that as well. So we are going to be jumping over very soon. So what I'm going to do is I play a commercial right now. Which commercial am I playing? I'm going to play I think it's going to be the Chuck Norris one. And then once that's over, what's going to happen is we'll come back. And when we come back, we're going to jump to Rumble. All right? So I'm going to put this down so it's not in the way, but I want you to get over there now. People often comment how I keep up with coverage of President Trump. Trust me, it's not easy. I get good sleep. I have a very encouraging and supportive wife. I've been working out again, and I've been eating right. That's probably the best thing. Eat right and exercise. I also take a couple of supplements that have really helped me and helped my energy. Let me tell you about one of them right now. Have you ever wondered what happened to the legendary Chuck Norris? I recently saw a video he made, and I was shocked. He's in his 80s and still kicking butt and working out and staying active. What's even more shocking is he's stronger, can work out longer, and even has plenty of energy left over for his grandkids. And I've got grandkids, so that appealed to me. He did this by just making one change. He says he still feels like he's in his 50s. His wife even started doing this one thing too, and she's never felt better. She says she feels 10 years younger, her body looks leaner, and she has energy all day. Chuck made a special video that explains everything. Make sure you watch it by going to chuckdefense.com/Barry. You can see it on the screen right there. chuckdefense.com/Barry, or by clicking the link below in this video. Trust me, it will change the way you think about your health. Once again, that's chuckdefense.com/Barry, and click on the link in the description below to watch the video right now. Trust me, it's 100% free to watch the video. No charge whatsoever, a couple minutes every time. You won't believe how simple it is. Watch his method by clicking the link in the description box below. chuckdefense.com/Barry. And just a reminder, the legendary Chuck Norris is a whopping 84 years old. He's even older than Donald Trump. And yet, he has more energy than most people. I mean, that's awesome. He discovered he could create dramatic changes to his health simply focusing on 3 things that sabotage our body as we age. All right, so go to chuckdefense.com/Barry and check out that video. All right, so I didn't go anywhere yet. I'm going to do the super chats, and once I do the super chats, then I'm going to be over there. So what I'll do is I'll play the break while everybody jumps, so it gives you time to get over there. And let's go ahead and look at some super chats. But I got to get the window put in the right place. And now we are ready to rock. All right, so thank you for everybody that's tuned in tonight. Ed Sloan, song suggestion courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue. Yes, we played that a couple nights ago, but we'll put it in rotation. Beverly Litton, so good to be back. It's been difficult to find various podcasts. I ain't hard to find. What do you mean hard to find? I'm here. I haven't gone anywhere. I've been right here. Just go ahead and put the name in, and you'll find it. Actually, what we're going to start doing too is we're going to start using our mailing list to get information out to people so they know we got a video dropping. But because I do 2 a day, I don't want to send out 2 emails, so you may not get the email until the next day, but whatever, you'll get it. Larry, if Trump actually survives in office until 2028, this 4 years of his presidency will be the greatest years in the history of our country. I completely agree. FL, I wanted Trump knife, but instead got endless offers that went on for a half hour until I gave up. Nope, all you got to do is click them off. You don't have to, it doesn't take you a half hour. Come on. Donna Mega Gamma Shufani, to all my brothers and sisters still on duty, thank you and God bless. Nice, very nice. Ernest Walker, the deep state is still in charge. We are still being censored everywhere. Our only saviors are Jesus and President Trump. Well, just Jesus. Beverly Litton, it's a known fact that jabs and boosters can cause turbo cancer and physical damages and worse. Yes. Trumpinator, Beth, here you go. Beth, okay. And Victor Bazell, thank you. And Tommy Juanito Janico, I just wanted to say I really enjoyed your show tonight, Barry. Have you ever considered interviewing the Hodge twins? Yeah, I'd love to get them on. I think that would be pretty cool. We can try to get a hold of them for sure. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to play our break, and when we play the break, by the time the break, somewhere middle of the break, we're going to come alive on Rumble only. So let me go ahead and play that break. And as soon as you hear the break, make sure you're over at the after party. You know, what we've been calling the after party. Again, if you don't like music, the first 10 or 15 minutes of the after party is going to be music. And today's music is quite eclectic. Quite eclectic. Some of you will be like, I never heard that before, Barry. yeah, you might not have heard it. So just breathe, have fun, or if music isn't your style, you can call it a good night. We've been here for 2 hours. Thank you for tuning in. For everybody else, let's go rock out.